of Southeast Main Street. There was a body that was found in the house, okay? We were able to say that it is Cat, okay? I'm so sorry for your loss, sir.
This is 28-year-old John Blauvelt, learning that his missing wife was discovered in an abandoned house, brutally murdered, surrounded by satanic markings. However, John had a disturbing secret he couldn't tell the interviewer that day.
Down. I might put her down.
Using his military experience, he carried out a near-perfect murder that kept detectives one step behind for years. And by the time investigators began to narrow in on him, John was already long gone, living in a new state, in a new house, running away with his 17-year-old girlfriend, and seemingly getting away for good.
This defies any kind of logic that I have experienced in my 62 years on this earth.
We know more than you think we do.
What if I told you that your cell phone did ping somewhere other than where you say you were?
It's 2:15 p.m. on October 24th, 2016. 22-year-old Katie Blauvelt is captured on CCTV inside her workplace. Her shift is soon coming to an end, and she's planning to meet her mother at 3 p.m. that same day. She leaves, calls her mother, and takes a selfie, unaware it's the last photo she ever takes. Not long after, her phone pings a location for the last time, and Katie disappears without a trace. 5 hours passed by. It's now 7 p.m., and Katie never arrived for dinner with her mother. Worried, the mother and other family members try calling her multiple times, but her phone has no signal. At 7:48 p.m., Katie's mother reports her missing. Officers, friends, and family mobilize to look for her, and the search officially begins. But this left detectives with a critical 5-hour gap in the timeline, one they would spend months trying to piece together. 10 hours would go past without any clues about Katie's whereabouts. Then, at 12:33 a.m., the police receive an unexpected call. One of Katie's friends is on the line, claiming he's just found her body, dead, inside an abandoned house deep in a nearby forest.
Simpsonville 911, what's the location of your emergency?
I'm at Discover Church across from it, in the woods.
You're at Discover Church across from where?
In the woods across from it. I was worried about my friend, Katie, and she went missing. She's been missing for a while now, and we came in this house that we used to all hang out in, and she's in there. She's not alive.
Quickly, medics and police rush to the address of an abandoned house deep in the woods. Upon arriving at the scene, officers notice multiple graffiti markings, including apparent satanic symbols. Soon after, they identify the caller as Wayne Roper, a friend of Katie who leads them into the basement of the abandoned house. There, officers find a large concrete box sealed with plywood. When they remove the cover, they're met with a horrifying sight. Katie's body lies inside, with a knife pierced through her neck and 16 stab wounds across her body. The lack of struggle and the state of her clothing, with her shirt pulled up and her lower clothes missing, suggested a sexually motivated killing. All of these details point detectives straight to Wayne as their first potential suspect. But what they don't realize is that this is exactly what the killer wants them to think. Every detail of the scene has been arranged to send them chasing the wrong lead. Without realizing it, detectives have walked straight into the killer's setup. As the night went on, forensics revealed chilling details. Katie's body had been dragged to the basement, and her phone was found submerged in water to destroy it. Wayne is detained and brought in for questioning. At the moment, detectives believe they have their killer, and they're ready to push for a confession.
Wayne, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, brother.
Hey, buddy. What's your name, pal?
Franklin Wayne Roper.
I'm sorry?
Franklin Wayne Roper.
Franklin or Wayne?
Think about reading.
At this point, Wayne believes he's been brought in to be questioned as a witness after the heartbreaking discovery, unaware that detectives are already convinced about his involvement in the murder, and any statement he makes might be used against him.
I think you know why you're here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me how did you meet Katie? Just from the time you met her, kind of what your relationship was, and leading up until, 11:30 or so last night, okay?
I first met her, we were friends at first, and then we dated for like a month or so, and then that's whenever I moved to Liberty with my dad, and we stayed in contact for a little bit, and then once I left my dad's and went to North Carolina, we lost contact.
Detectives begin the interview by learning that Wayne and Katie were once together, but quickly, Wayne reveals something that would immediately put suspicion onto his name.
Maybe a year later, that Katie got married to John Lavelle, and then one night she came and hung out with us with John. It was the first time I've seen her since I moved, and since then John offered me to move in with them as a roommate, being $200 a month, and I took it up. It was a good deal.
So you live with her and her husband?
Yeah, it's
Kind of weird.
It was
When was this? Do you remember when this was?
when I lived with them. It was before June this year.
As Wayne explains that he once dated Katie and later lived with her and her husband, detectives gain another reason to suspect him: jealousy. And just as everything appears to be moving in the perfect direction for the real killer and his carefully constructed plan, Wayne makes a claim that complicates the investigation and may just be enough to ruin the killer's plan.
Living there, everything like going okay, Then they started having arguments because of me, because she used to talk about me before, and she told me that he was jealous of me, and their arguments started getting worse, and that was whenever he got drunk one night and he cussed her out, and he had her in the bathroom. They were just pretty much just screaming at each other, and then from there she ended up moving back with her mom, I think.
When did you and when you were living with John and Katie, were y'all being intimate with each other?
It was only once.
And John was there or not there?
It was like a gruesome thing.
And how did that come about?
I was drunk and he was drunk, and it was her idea. Like after that, he changed.
If true, Wayne's claims about John's violent behavior could shift suspicion towards him. But despite Wayne's accusations, something still doesn't add up. His story, with its inconsistencies and gaps, keeps raising suspicions. Because prior to this interrogation, detectives learned that on the day of Katie's death, Wayne arrived late to work, and he admits to walking near the abandoned house around the time Katie disappeared. More importantly, while at work, Wayne was aware that Katie might be inside that very house. Yet despite that suspicion, he never alerted authorities. Instead, he waited until the end of the day, went there himself, and only then called the police. All of this places Wayne squarely in the crosshairs of investigators, and unknowingly pushes them further into the real killer's trap. Because in the next few minutes, the interview will take a terrifying turn as detectives unknowingly edge closer to forcing an innocent man into confession to a brutal murder that he never committed. But before we get to that, recently I'd been dealing with these headaches for 3 weeks straight, and I kept pushing off seeing a doctor because I've always struggled to find one that works for me and my insurance. That's where I used ZocDoc, the sponsor of today's video. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, and ZocDoc isn't just for one type of care. ZocDoc has over 150,000 providers across nearly every specialty, from primary care to dental, eye care, urgent care, mental health, and more. It's basically a one-stop shop for your healthcare needs, and it's completely free to use. When you found the doctor you need, you can see their actual appointment openings. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments. No need to call doctor's offices and wait on hold either. So if there's something you've been ignoring, make it easier on yourself. Go to ZocDoc.com/DrInsanity. That's ZocDoc.com/DrInsanity, or click the link in the description to find and instantly book a top-rated, in-network doctor today. With that said, let's get back to Wayne's interview, where detectives are on the verge of pushing an innocent man into a murder confession.
Why didn't you call the police?
I didn't think of it at the time. I didn't.
Did you know she was dead?
No.
Why would you think the best idea is for you to walk into what turns out to be her final resting place, where somebody murdered her and dumped her down there like a piece of trash? You know why you didn't look in the bathroom?
We glanced in there with the flashlight. Like, if you're standing at the door of it, you can see in there.
You can't see in the tub. I'm telling you, I was up there in the day. Because she wasn't in the tub. This defies any kind of logic that I have experienced in my 62 years on this earth.
You look like you're gonna pass out.
This is too much.
I bet it is.
Get it off of you then.
I'm sure it is.
All you gotta do is lay it down. You lay the burden down, that's the only way you'll be forgiven. You gotta say, I messed up. Help me. That's what you gotta say. And I'll do it. But I'm not gonna do it on credit.
Detectives remained suspicious of Wayne, but with him sticking to his story and no hard evidence, they couldn't yet arrest him. Instead, they collected his DNA sample to compare with the DNA found underneath Katie's fingernails. But that's when, just a few hours after Wayne's interview, as police search the area around the abandoned house, they stumble upon Katie's car, only a few miles from the crime scene, left abandoned in a nearby parking lot. It looked as if she had left in a hurry, but the reason her car ended up there would remain one of the biggest mysteries for the following months. Up to this point, everything was going according to the killer's plan, one designed and carried out by Katie's own husband, John Blauvelt. But Wayne's comments about his jealousy pushed detectives to dig deeper. What they found was a restraining order filed months earlier, after John had allegedly pulled a gun on Katie when she refused to give him her phone. For the first time, despite his efforts, officers were seriously beginning to suspect John. So the next day, on October 26th, detectives approach him at his office on the military base where he works. Their goal is simple: hear his side of the story, verify his alibi for the day Katie died, and see how he reacts under pressure. For most perpetrators, this would be the moment everything starts to fall apart. But John isn't like the rest. He would play it perfectly.
Alright, well, they're out off of Southeast Main Street. There was a body that was found in the house, okay, an abandoned house. And at this point, we're able to say that it is Catherine, okay? I'm so sorry for your loss, sir. At this time, we are investigating, and we would investigate every death the same way. We start with homicide and work our way from there, okay? What the restraining order deal? What's the deal with that?
That's because a charge back that I got back in February, domestic violence first degree.
Do you know if she had any issues with anybody? Anybody that wouldn't hurt her or anything like that?
No, and I know that she's been dating around, and it's whatever, because I've been too. But
Notice how John intentionally directs detectives towards the fact that Katie is dating around. Him pointing this out isn't a coincidence. It's a strategy. By controlling the narrative this early, John is quietly planting a story that will protect him later.
Did you work this Monday?
Mm-hmm.
What time did you get off Monday?
Like 2:30ish, I don't know.
Did you stop anywhere on the way home?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, why were you looking for Katie?
For Cheyenne. Cheyenne's destroyed right now, and I'm just trying to help her out.
Who do you know that would want to do harm to her?
Not nobody.
Do you know there's a guy that used to live with you, redheaded fella?
Redhead?
Yeah.
Wayne?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's his story?
Just regular dude. Good guy.
Friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for the Army?
Well, right now I just sit in this office, small office right now. Because of the civil investigation, all of my recruiting duties have been suspended.
Are you familiar with this abandoned house?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the spot.
What's the spot?
Hangout spot. Am I being charged with a crime? Because he's recording me, and I'm not comfortable with that.
No,
And if I am, I'd like to contact a lawyer. Because this is uncomfortable.
Okay.
you're not being charged
Okay.
with a crime right now.
As the interview ends, John does something counterintuitive. He defends Wayne, the man he's secretly framing. It's a manipulation tactic known as reverse empathy. By showing compassion, he makes himself appear harmless and trustworthy. John's first interrogation had gone almost perfectly, leaving detectives with little they could use against him. Still, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. With no evidence to hold him, he was let go, and officers would turn to those closest to John and Katie, their friends and family, unaware that John had already influenced them. Detectives started with Crystal, Katie's best friend, and at the time, also John's roommate. John knew exactly what to expect here. In his interrogation, he had already planted the idea that Katie was dating around, and Crystal, being one of Katie's close friends, also knew about her dating habits. His hope was that she would unknowingly reinforce this misdirection, steering suspicion towards anyone but him.
Alright, October 28th, 2016, 4:47 p.m., Simpsonville Police Department.
Like I said, all I ask is that you don't tell John you're up here. And he's not the only suspect. You know, there's other people we're talking to and questioning. So, has he made any statements about, if I go to jail for Katie's murder?
He's just, he said that, it sucks for him because he feels like he's gonna get in trouble for it. But, he's like, I didn't do this, I'm tired of people coming after me.
Right.
See, me and John actually really do get along. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie about him at all. I'm gonna tell you the straight up truth. If he's acting weird, I'm gonna tell you, but it wasn't. I was thinking last night about it. I really was. Just maybe a split second thought that it could have been John. But he's, ever since Katie's gone missing, he's made sure that there was more than one person around him. At the time that Katie died at 8 o'clock at night, all three of us were sitting in the living room. From 5 o'clock when he came back home till me and my boyfriend left for work the next morning, he was there.
Notice how Crystal mentions that John got home at 5 p.m. and stayed there the entire evening until morning. It's a detail that would later turn out to be part of John's manipulation.
So, if you had to take a guess at who killed her, what would you say?
I don't know because I heard a lot of things. And I know she had a tender, and I know that she was dating a lot of people. From, Cheyenne telling me that she took a lot of people down in the house. I didn't even know the house existed.
What were John's feelings or thoughts toward Katie to you?
I know that he loved her. I know that he still does. He's mad because of what Katie is accusing. He held the gun up to my head and stuff like that. And just by the way she was talking, I knew she was lying. Because that's what she did. Me and her used to get each other in trouble all the time in high school. That's what she would do. She would lie,
Alright. I think we're done. Anything?
Just as John hoped, Crystal's account added fuel to the idea he had planted. By emphasizing Katie's dating life, she unknowingly fed into John's narrative, suggesting the threat may have come from someone she was seeing, maybe even Wayne. Next came Catherine, John's ex-wife and the mother of his child. He had already made sure she wouldn't say too much. Fear, and their shared child, would be enough to keep her quiet.
This is Investigator Hawkins.
Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you.
With you being married to him for 7 years, with the drinking, greed, and sober, has there been any violence between the two of you? Okay. I'm not here to go and arrest him for something that happened, 10 years ago or anything like that.
But I just don't want to go into anything that had to do with us because That doesn't have anything to do with what happened between him and Katie.
I mean, it's not that you're incriminating yourself.
He's a good guy. I mean, I'm alive. Bad joke, but I would assume I wouldn't be if he was that crazy.
Well, you never know. It only takes one time for somebody to snap.
I know, but he's never snapped with me for some reason.
Plus, you two have a kid together, so.
Yeah, there's that,
Maybe
but.
that has something to do with it. All right, I'll give you a business card with my phone number on there.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate it.
Catherine's silence kept John safe for now, but the final interview with Katie's niece, Cheyenne, would not go according to John's plan. Unlike Crystal or Catherine, she wouldn't protect him. Instead, she would point suspicion directly at John and reveal a motive that would tie everything together. For the first time, his carefully built plan would start to fall apart.
Alrighty. Your name is Cheyenne Paxton, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is Thursday, October 27th at 8:52 a.m. Simpsonville Police Department. This is in reference to the homicide investigation of Caitlin Blaivelt. Have you ever seen John get violent towards Katie?
I've never seen him put his hands on. I've seen them argue.
Would Katie have gone over to his house on her own?
Within the last 3 weeks to a month, like I know.
So if he says he hasn't seen her since July, that's a lie.
July. Yeah, no, he's seen her. I know that John is really angry at Katie for a lot of things.
Tell me what he's mad about her for.
He feels like that it's her fault. That all, like, that their relationship went bad. And that everything kind of went bad for a little while. He feels like it's her fault that he's losing his job. And that he got in any trouble. And he just blames it all on her,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this matters or not, but I know he has like a $150,000 life insurance policy on her too.
All right. I appreciate you coming in. I know it's not easy, especially when somebody close to you, but it's important. A lot of this information you gave us, good information that we need. So.
Cheyenne's interview gave detectives their first real motive pointing to John. But motive wasn't enough. They needed evidence.
They have a few leads, but they have no defined person of interest just yet.
As the investigation dragged on, the detectives' frustration began to grow. John had covered himself so carefully that they couldn't even get a judge to approve a DNA warrant. Without it, they had nothing that could tie him directly to Katie's final moments. It's now been 4 days since Katie was killed, and detectives didn't have any solid evidence. They knew John was smart, but so were they. Out of options and patience, they began planning something different. They began forming a new, risky, and very unconventional plan. In just 2 days, they would set a trap for John. A trap at Katie's own funeral. In the days leading up to the funeral, detectives stayed ready. While they waited, Katie's family mourned and tried to make sense of what happened. 22-year-old Katie had spent the past year working at PetSmart, surrounded by animals she was saving and taking care of. She was easygoing and warm, quick to make friends, and close with her family. But her peaceful life from just days earlier would make what was about to come only more unsettling. As the day of the funeral came, detectives entered the funeral home early, working quietly before guests began to arrive. They positioned hidden cameras around the room and secretly wired the space for sound. Everything inside the funeral home looked normal, but in reality, detectives controlled every detail. They'd placed cups of water and other drinks where guests could easily reach them. The plan was simple. Get John to drink from one of the cups, catch it on video, collect his DNA from the cup, and compare it to the DNA found on Katie's body. On October 30th, the day of the funeral, detectives set their plan into motion. But what their cameras are about to capture goes far beyond anything they expect. As John leaves the funeral home, detectives know their plan has worked. They quickly return to retrieve the cup he had drank from and the hidden camera they placed earlier. When they review the footage, 3 critical things stand out, all of which will become pivotal to the entire investigation. The first is exactly what they were hoping for. John drinks from one of the cups and leaves it behind, giving detectives the evidence they need to collect his DNA without a warrant and compare it to the samples found on Katie. The second detail is something they never expected. The footage captures John walking up to the casket, taking pictures of Katie's body while making unsettling comments. And the third, perhaps most unsettling of all, is that John isn't alone. Standing beside him is an unidentified young woman who quietly tells him to stop taking pictures, then giggles moments later. Her behavior immediately drew attention, and detectives decided to collect her cup as well for DNA testing. And when they began digging into her identity, they discovered the woman was 17-year-old Hannah Thompson, a friend, and more recently, John's new roommate. They also learned that she had once been close friends with Katie. Given her connection to John and Katie and her strange behavior at the funeral, detectives know Hannah isn't just another witness. She might be the key to solving the entire case. And they were dead on. At this point, detectives have interviewed Wayne, John, and people from both John and Katie's circle. They also collected crucial evidence and leads, and now believe that Hannah, the 17-year-old who lived with John, could be the key to uncovering the truth about Katie's murder. The next day, on October 31st, a week after Katie's death, detectives approach Hannah and bring her in for interrogation. If anyone knows what really happened, it's her.
When was the last time you saw Katie?
Like a few months ago.
What was your feelings towards her?
I mean, I've always seen her as like a friend because like I lived with her for a little bit.
Right. So is it fair to say you were on good terms with her when she was killed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you end up going to her visitation Saturday?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So you didn't get to say goodbye to her? I know John, I think, went there Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You didn't get to go with him?
I went with him, yeah. I didn't go Saturday though because her family doesn't really like me because of her niece Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like kind of like off and on friends, and I think she might have said something about me that her family didn't really like me.
Did you go in the room and pay your respects, or how did that go?
It was hard. It was really hard.
How long did you stay in the room with her casket?
Like 10 to 15 minutes.
What did y'all talk about while you were in there?
We didn't talk at all.
Nothing?
We just each had our like moments, I guess.
John never take his cell phone out and take a picture of her?
No, he didn't.
You sure? Or you can tell me. Some people do that.
Yeah, no, he never took a picture of her.
Watch Hannah's behavior closely. As the questions get more direct, her eyes start darting between the detectives. She fidgets with her hands, picks at her nails. Her whole demeanor shifts. It's clear she's getting nervous, and the detectives can see it too.
So while you were in that room, you two never talked at all?
I kind of rubbed his back a little bit. I told him that it was okay, but other than that, we didn't really talk.
Was he crying? Were you crying?
It was just hard, like seeing somebody like that.
I bet. Okay. Monday night at some point before you went out, you guys carried out a bag of trash to your car, or to his car, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. So you don't recall carrying out a trash bag or him cleaning anything up? Having to put stuff in the trash?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On Monday, the day Katie was killed, one of their roommates reported seeing John and Hannah carrying out several bags of trash. At the time, detectives didn't think much of it. It felt like a small, irrelevant detail with nothing to back it up. But now, with all this new information coming together, that statement suddenly stood out. It was another piece of the puzzle, something they could finally use to put more pressure on Hannah.
Just so you understand, we've been working this case steady since she disappeared.
Right.
So there's a lot of these things that we know the answers to. I can tell you already, you're lying to me.
Okay? You do not want to get wrapped up in catching the murder charge. I gotta tell you a little something. At the funeral home, we were there. Okay? There was a camera in the room. There was a recorder in the room. We heard everything you guys said. So do you want to go back and rehash that?
I don't. It was not easy to see her like that.
Is that why there was some giggling and stuff?
There's not any giggling.
We've been doing this longer than you've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
You're not slicker than us. You know, you're not going to outsmart us. We've talked to people. This is a murder. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about somebody that would stab a girl in the neck to the point where the knife went all the way through to the other side, and then stick her body like a piece of trash in the basement of an abandoned house to sit there for a day and a half before somebody finds her?
Look at her. She's right
I
here.
don't want to look at her.
That's your friend.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Don't want to do what? Don't want to help us find out who killed her?
All you gotta do is tell the truth. It would be so easy.
I can't look at her.
Can
I can't look at her.
Can I tell you something? To tell the truth, you don't have to try. It just flows. It just comes out.
We're also aware of what people have told us about you and Katie. And they're telling us that you didn't like her one bit. Well, after me and John started, getting together, Katie started not liking me. If you know something and you're trying to cover up for it, you're gonna go down with the rest of them. You're gonna go down with the person who did this to her. I don't know anything about her murder.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
I really don't.
We really do. You do. We know more than you think we do.
I don't want to talk anymore right now.
Good luck to you.
Even after being confronted with the footage and being caught in multiple lies, Hannah refused to give up on any additional details she may withhold. But while none of this gave detectives the definitive proof they needed, John didn't know that. And that uncertainty was exactly what they were counting on. So detectives decide to bring him in again, this time more prepared and ready to push harder than before. They planned to corner him with everything they had. But they'd have to be careful. If they pushed too far without enough to arrest him, it could tip him off, causing him to disappear.
We hadn't really had a chance to sit down. I know I talked to you that day that when we notified you about her death.
Yeah.
And things are kind of emotional and everything. So, right. So the viewing was Saturday, right?
Right, 2 to 4 on Saturday.
And when did you get?
I went Sunday, 2:30 on Sunday.
Okay. So they just had a private thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go by yourself? Or?
Yeah. Well, I took Hannah with me.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
How was that hard?
Yeah, because I mean, first of all, there's nobody there but me and her, so we're just kind of standing there staring at Katie's nasty, dirty, disgusting body. I've seen people dead. I've fucking dealt with this shit before, and now there's nobody else there. You know what I mean?
That night, somebody says you and Hannah were putting some trash from a bag, like a trash bag in the back of the Prius.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember doing that?
Oh yeah. Marley had the most explosive shit on the floor and stunk up the whole house. I threw out 4 towels.
This moment reveals Hannah's a lie. She claimed she couldn't remember taking any trash out, yet John's statement confirms otherwise. It's a small clue, but one that'll soon become part of a much bigger picture.
So you guys got home around 3 roughly.
Yeah.
Brandon and
Crystal
were there. What happened after that, after you've been running?
We went and met my friend Scott to get some money that he owes me.
What's he owe you?
He owed me $500 for when he crashed my car.
Where'd y'all meet with Scott
at the Zaxby's on Fairview.
But he was in the Army with you?
Yeah. Yeah, we
deployed together?
We deployed together.
Did you go anywhere before that?
No.
This is where John makes his first mistake, mentioning a name detectives have never heard before. Charles Scott, his friend from the military, someone who'd later prove to know far more about the night Katie died than anyone realized.
I don't know how much you know about cell phones and stuff like that, but as you go around, your cell phone's constantly searching for signals and stuff like that. Right. So with that said, is there anything, going back to last Monday, is there anything that you've told me that your cell phone records would say otherwise?
I don't believe so.
What if I told you that your cell phone did ping somewhere other than where you say you were.
Then I'd also say that her cell phone pinged in West Virginia.
Yeah, that ended up being a AT&T mishap. They plugged in the wrong phone number.
Yeah, I don't
know. Okay. What if I told you that Charles Scott's phone number pinged in the same area that yours did and not around Zaxby's?
When?
Monday night.
He's got freedom of moving on him. We can call him. We can ask him.
Okay. So the night, this Monday night that we were talking about, around 6:15, sometime around that time frame, can you think of any reason your phone would show that you were in that area of Augusta Road and Whitehorse Road?
No.
Is there any reason you and Charles were talking a lot that evening?
Yeah, because that's the night that he was here. That's the night he was available.
I'm not looking to offend you, but it's questions that we need to get answered and cleared up.
Okay.
Did Katie have any kind of life insurance policy?
Through the military, yeah. She's automatically enrolled.
Okay.
Same as my daughter.
Would you be willing to take a polygraph so we can go ahead and do that with you and eliminate you and start looking elsewhere?
I have to talk to my lawyer about that first.
Okay.
See what he says, because I don't know about that at all.
As the interview ends, detectives have their first real connection between John and Charles. Both of their phones show activity near the area where Katie's body was found. It isn't enough to make an arrest, but it's enough to keep digging. And with a new name now tied to the night of the murder, John can sense it. Detectives are closing in. At this point, the main circle of suspects included Wayne, John, Hannah, and now more recently, Charles Scott, John's friend from the Army. But as detectives slowly pressed forward, John was growing uneasy. For the first time, he was starting to realize his master plan might not hold. That's when, on November 4th, 11 days after Katie was killed, detectives received a call that would send the case in a whole new direction. Crystal, who was John's roommate and had been interviewed earlier, came forward with information that changed everything.
Hi, Crystal.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, what's been going on since, I don't know, you got a phone call on Wednesday?
At 3:30, he called and he said, are y'all at home? And we said no. And he said, okay, all right, bye. And then just hung up. Well, me and Brandon got home about 6:15, 6:30, and we seen that in our room we have, like I said, the Halloween lights just going across the ceiling. The attic is right where that light is at. And I had the lights going across the attic. Well, when we come back, they were just torn down. We haven't even touched them. They were just ripped out from the attic. And once we figured out he was gone, we went searching through the house, making sure all the windows were locked and covered. And because I've never been in a house alone like that, except for my apartment. But he was gone, you know, and we couldn't call him because the cops have his phone. I said, Brandon, we need to go back outside and call the Simpsonville Detective Warlock. And I told him what was happening, and he was like, I was like, if you want to come and search the house right now, I'll give you full permission. And he said, well, I can't do that without a warrant. And he was like, and I was like, well, there's no way that somebody can come out here and like search the house or anything like that. And he said, no. He said, your best bet is to go stay the night somewhere else. He was like, because you're possibly living with a murderer.
John was gone. His disappearance also meant he abandoned his military service, officially classifying him as a deserter. However, as investigators would soon learn, he wasn't alone. He had fled with none other than the 17-year-old girl, Hannah Thompson. And as officers across the state searched every highway, every motel, every possible route out of South Carolina with no sign of either of them, it became clear this wasn't just an investigation anymore. This was a manhunt. In the days that followed, leads were few. The pair had vanished completely off the grid. A 28-year-old former Army sergeant and a 17-year-old teenager, gone without a trace. Then, on November 19th, 26 days after Katie's death, a small breakthrough happened. John's red Yukon was captured on CCTV near Las Cruces, New Mexico, about 1,600 miles from Simpsonville, South Carolina, where he disappeared. And just 2 days later, on November 21st, that same Yukon was found abandoned in the mountains of Umatilla County in Oregon, over 1,400 miles away from Las Cruces. Inside the vehicle, investigators found John's laptop, clothes, and camping gear scattered around, suggesting that after the crash, John and Hannah grabbed what they could and ran into the woods. The discovery confirmed what detectives had already feared. John and Hannah were constantly on the move, crossing state lines and staying just far enough ahead of law enforcement to vanish again. Later that same day, authorities issued arrest warrants for both John and Hannah, officially turning the case into a nationwide manhunt. By this point, John and Hannah had already been on the run for over 2 weeks before any warrants were ever issued, putting them far ahead of law enforcement and nearly impossible to track. But once the warrants went active, detectives finally gained full access to their phones, chat logs, and internet history. And that's when their worst suspicions were confirmed.
I just woke up and I already feel sad again. I feel like you're still talking to Katie.
I promise you I'm not talking to Katie.
I will leave you if you talk to her. I swear.
I know. I'm not and I won't. She's gone. I'm done with her. I promise. I'm going through with that thing though soon.
I'm gonna be staying with you.
Good.
The messages between the two suggest that John had been planning the murder for months prior to it actually happening. And upon searching his internet history, they found searches like how to make a two-way radio or how to sharpen a knife, leaving little to no doubt about his involvement. But with John and Hannah still missing, detectives had little choice but to wait, hoping for the next break that could pull them back on the trail. And that's when, on November 25th, 21 days after John and Hannah's disappearance and over a month after Katie's death, detectives got a call from a South Carolina prison. But the caller wasn't just anyone. The call came from the cellmate of Charles Scott, John's army friend who was already in custody for an unrelated charge. Charles's phone had pinged near the abandoned house on the day Katie died, and his cellmate was about to provide a lead that could give detectives the breakthrough they desperately needed, with details only the killer could have known.
Just as we're talking today, is that the Charles Scott you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. He told me that he killed a girl. Helped kill that girl with one of his buddies. Named John, something like that. You know, they had put her in a drug house or an abandoned house, in the basement, in a box. That takes 2 people to open. He was the one that coerced her to the spot where John come up behind her and got her, grabbed her. And they met at a different location. When John got her, they put the knife to her. John stabbed her. I don't know how many times John stabbed her. He didn't say. He said he knows he stabbed her twice and John made him stab her twice. He actually said it scared him when he stabbed her at first, but then after he stabbed her, it made him feel a little better.
William's statements are shocking. His account of what happened closely mirrors the possible events of the night Katie died, and what he says next only grows more disturbing.
He said, well, this is the second time, but the first time he told me about, you know, how he coerced her to come to the spot, and now that we're going to talk about something about John, trying to help John come off of marijuana, and John's on drugs real bad. After John grabbed her, they put her in John's Tahoe, red Tahoe, and took her to the scene.
So did they say where they actually killed her at?
In the back of the Tahoe, on the tarp. I said, look, be honest with me. I said, had they took your DNA? He said, no. I said, well, that's a good thing. I said, your DNA at the crime scene. He said, they had took my DNA, it's not going to be there.
All right. If you don't have anything else, Mark, we're going to go ahead and conclude the interview at 11:02 a.m.
Mark's statements put serious allegations on Charles. It wouldn't be anything special, as false accusations like this happen when inmates try to get a deal with officers or get their sentence lowered. But in this instance, too many details added up. Details only the killer or someone heavily involved could have known. One of those was his claim that Charles had lured Katie to a location near the abandoned house. For detectives, this suddenly made sense of why her car had been discovered just a few miles away, abandoned without a struggle. Charles also allegedly told his bunkmate that he and John wrapped Katie in a tarp to move her into the basement. This matched forensics, which had already indicated she'd been moved after death. Now detectives have a chilling theory of how that happened. It was now a very big chance for the detectives to possibly catch one of Katie's killers, a chance they couldn't afford to waste. So without hesitation, they brought Charles in, hoping for the biggest breakthrough in the case yet. But detectives knew getting Charles to talk wouldn't be easy. They didn't have enough evidence to pin him down, and they needed something, anything, that could make him slip. So they decided to take an insane risk. They came up with a plan to push him over the edge. They would bluff, pretending that John had already been arrested and was ready to testify against him. If Charles believed it, the pressure might finally make him talk. But if he didn't, detectives would lose their best chance to get the truth.
Alright, Charles.
Please take the polygraph test.
Let's get away from the polygraph, okay? Because you've been saying that ever since I read the warrant to you, okay? Because it's not looking good for you. Okay?
I have absolutely nothing to do with that girl's murder. Can I please take a polygraph test? Can I please take
Let me tell you that John was arrested in New Jersey.
Okay.
And he sang like a bird to those investigators.
I don't care what he told you.
Well, you should.
I was not there.
Investigator Manley told you that John was arrested earlier.
Okay.
And he's talking. What do you think he's saying?
I don't know what he's saying. I don't know, but I know I've never seen that girl a day in my life.
You were both there, Charles.
No, we was not.
As soon as the questioning starts, Charles demands a polygraph, and detectives know exactly what that means. Polygraphs aren't reliable, can be manipulated, and their results can't be used in court. It's an easy way out. Simple yes or no questions instead of real confrontation. And before long, his avoidance turns into an act of ignorance.
I never seen that girl.
But you knew that they were married, and you knew that John had problems.
No, I did not know.
Oh, no.
You told me at the Fountain Police Department that John has talked about how she was fucking his career up.
That was a lie. Everybody saying like a bird. I never had no weapon. You will not find no fingerprints on no weapon that I touched. Number one.
Why is that?
Because I wasn't there. I didn't touch no weapon. I never had no weapon.
But he said, I'll never find fingerprints on a weapon that you touched.
Yeah.
So,
I guarantee
have you ever told anybody that you're involved in this murder?
Do I look stupid? Do I look like I would just go inside of a fucking jail to some guy I don't know and say, hey man, I murdered some girl?
You know what it looks like you were remorseful for your actions. Well, let me ask you this, where's the phone that you had that you communicated with Katie on?
Who's Kate? The girl that died?
Yeah.
I never communicated with her.
Where's the phone?
What phone?
The phone that was used to communicate with the girl the day that she was murdered.
Only phone that I had was the one you confiscated and the one in Miss Christie's house.
Even after the detectives bluff and revealed the testimony his previous cellmate made about Charles' involvement in the crime, he denied everything. Still, detectives couldn't ignore the phone data placing him near the house or the chilling details from his bunkmate. With no confession, all they could do was wait. Charles's DNA was now added to the samples already being tested against the evidence found beneath Katie's fingernails. And when those results came back, they would finally reveal who was truly involved. Over 2 weeks have now passed since the last lead on the case. With false leads and missing crucial timelines, it was becoming more and more possible that the real killers of Katie would never be found. Until the detectives got a call from Hannah's parents, with information that could soon result in solving the whole case. Hannah had resurfaced, stating she had been abandoned by John and would soon come back to her hometown, so law enforcement would be there, waiting for her. It was now the day when Hannah was supposed to come back to her home. Law enforcement secured all entries to the city, as well as all possible places she could go to. And finally, at 9 a.m., she would be spotted near her family home. From there, she would be instantly detained and taken to the police department for interrogation. For the detectives, it was now or never. That was their biggest chance of finding out what had really happened and who is truly responsible for Katie's death.
What was the game plan when you guys left?
I don't think we really had one. Like, I guess both of us just kind of panicked and he decided that he wanted to leave, like, the state. And
we like drove up into the mountains, and he just got the car like stuck in trees, like in the mountains. So I was like, what are we gonna do? He said that we would hike. I kind of like stopped, and I was crying, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I need to go home. Like, he started like yelling at me and calling me names and saying that if I left, like he was gonna kill me. Then, like one morning, like he had gotten up and left, and I was just like, I'm not just gonna like sit here. Like, I got up and I went to like down the street to like a hotel, started crying, and then I sent a message to my mom and dad.
Hannah continued describing their time on the run, doing her best to avoid talking about the day of the murder. It went on for nearly 2 hours, and by then, the pressure had clearly worn her down. That's when the detective would start asking her the difficult questions, causing Hannah to break, revealing everything she knows.
Let's go back to that Monday, okay? Because we now have conversations between you and him on Wednesday about he's going to meet up with her, he's going to drink some beers with her at this abandoned house. He says he tries to meet up with her, it doesn't work. But then lo and behold, she's found at that abandoned house that he was supposed to go meet up with her at. Meanwhile, he randomly asks you to drop her off on Woodruff Road, or drop him off on Woodruff Road, and doesn't tell you why or anything. Okay? So can you please tell me what the game plan was? What did he tell you he was going to go and do?
He told me that he was just going to go talk to her at work.
You drove him over there.
He kept telling me, like, every day that, like, it was my fault, and that he did it for me, and, like...
What did he say he did for you?
He said that... when we were in Oregon at the casino, he, like, yelled it really loud. So then he killed her for me.
Hannah, was there a plan before this to get rid of Katie?
No.
Not from you, but did John ever talk to you about getting rid of Katie? Honestly.
No.
What did he tell you about killing Katie?
He just said that, like, it was really, like, bloody. He told me that the knife broke. He just said that the handle broke. The knife. The last thing she said was ow. And she said that before that if he let her go, that she wouldn't call the police.
Where were they, Hannah?
In the abandoned house.
And you don't know exactly where he could be or what he said, right? Okay. Hannah, did you have anything to do with killing Katie? And the reason why I ask you this is because we're still hunting for John.
Right.
Okay? And as much as you think John cared about you, from an outsider's perspective, not knowing you, not being your mom, he doesn't.
Unfortunately, Hannah's statements proved far less helpful in finding John than the detectives initially hoped for. Although she stated that John confessed to killing Katie and provided some new insights, she didn't know much about Charles's involvement. And while she could be arrested, detectives decided she might prove more useful free. After all, they now had her back in the city and under close watch, which seemed like a small success. What they didn't realize, however, was that this was all part of John's plan. Planting Hannah back in the city to infiltrate the case and feed him exactly what detectives knew, keeping him one step ahead for years to come. Almost 3 months had passed since Katie's body was found in the basement of the abandoned house, and the killer was still out there. But on that particular day, the long-awaited DNA results finally came back, and the results of DNA found under Katie's fingernails pointed to no one else but John himself. With the DNA matching to John, Wayne was cleared, but detectives still believed Hannah or Charles might have helped, or at least knew far more than they admitted. Detectives already knew that John was only using cash and most likely a fake ID, so all they could do at the moment was wait for John to make a critical mistake that would allow them to catch him. But John was careful, very careful. It had been over 7 months since Katie's murder and 6 months since John went on the run, when on May 21st, 2017, investigators received tips and possible sightings of John in Washington, over 2,700 miles from South Carolina, where Katie was found dead, and over 300 miles away from where his red Yukon was found abandoned. Acting on these leads, they canvassed local businesses and retrieved CCTV footage from a parking lot in Washington where John was captured on camera. Unfortunately, despite getting close, John managed to slip away, vanishing off under the radar once again. For the next year, the investigation hit a standstill. It wasn't until September 6, 2018, almost 2 years since Katie's death, when Hannah finally revealed that John had given her his journal and tools to hide, a crucial piece of evidence that would shift the case in a new direction. The journal became a pivotal piece of evidence, revealing John's state of mind and his premeditated intentions. It confirms that John's actions were driven by a deep desire to be with Hannah and his willingness to kill Katie to make that happen. During her interview, Hannah admitted she had been John's girlfriend and that she had been in constant contact with him before Katie's death. She also confessed that she had hidden John's journal, which contained disturbing entries about his obsessive thoughts and plans to escape with Hannah. This was the last significant breakthrough in the case for years. With no new leads, the investigation stalled. Detectives spent the next few years chasing down small tips and piecing together fragments of information, but nothing substantial came of it. The case gradually faded from public attention. Then, in 2022, 6 years after Katie's death, everything is about to change. After over 6 years of dead ends, U.S. Marshals and local law enforcement tracked John down in Oregon. He had erased his past, now living under the alias Ben Klein. Under his new identity, he had started a fresh life, marrying a new woman and leaving his past behind. The arrest felt surreal. John, who had spent so long evading capture, was now cornered. After years of hiding in plain sight, the truth had finally caught up with him, and the case was nearing its resolution. However, the mystery of how Katie was lured to the abandoned house remains unsolved to this day. Her phone was recovered damaged, limiting investigators' ability to access message content and app-based communications. And while rumors suggested Charles Scott might have had contact with her, this was never confirmed. With no physical or forensic evidence tying him to the crime, he was ultimately ruled out as a suspect and never sentenced. In 2022, during an interview after John's arrest, Hannah revealed for the first time that she and John had been in regular contact throughout the years he was on the run, continuing to text and communicate, even after she had returned to South Carolina. This new revelation shed light on her role in helping John evade capture. Finally, on September 20th, 2024, John Blauvelt was convicted of Katie's murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Hannah Thompson was charged with obstruction of justice and accessory after the fact, receiving a sentence of 10 years. This is the mother of 43-year-old Crystal Krug. In a few seconds, she's going to find Crystal's lifeless body inside this very garage.
Hello? Stay out, please.
And this is Daniel Krug, the man who killed her. He's heading in for another normal workday, just minutes after leaving his wife's lifeless body hidden in the garage of their own home.
Oh shit. Holy fuck.
For the last 4 months, this man has been engineering the most calculated homicide plot Colorado has ever seen, creating fake identities, manipulating Crystal's children, and setting up the perfect scapegoat to take the blame. He believes his plan is bulletproof, that police will spend weeks chasing a ghost and eventually arrest someone else for the murder he committed. And despite nearly perfect detective work, his plan works exactly the way he intended.
My husband said there was a dude who's been stalking her and threatened to kidnap her. Oh my god, this can't be true. I was the person who attacked her.
Christelle, Officer Hendry.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Very good to meet you. I talked to Detective Mike, kind of have an idea what's going on.
Yes.
This is Crystal Krug, months before her murder. She lives here with her husband, Daniel Krug, and their 3 children. Both Crystal and her husband are well educated and seem to have built a comfortable life together with their kids. But behind closed doors, something dark is happening that will destroy this beautiful family. All because Crystal's been dealing with a stalker obsessed with her, sending her constant threats and claiming to watch her every move. This officer is here to check her car for GPS trackers or anything that could explain how this stalker keeps finding her. In reality, the stalker is much closer than anyone could have imagined.
You can see like it's a little bit dirty, so I can even see blood marks, but like my street looks like this all the time. There's no one out there. Like I know the normal cars.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he's following from.
Okay.
I can only assume a tracker.
Nothing jumps out at me.
I know, I didn't either. I'm hoping it's just to mess with me.
The officer continues searching the vehicle top to bottom, but finds nothing suspicious. So before leaving, he offers Crystal a few safety recommendations and reassures her that they'll keep looking into her case. Not long in the course of the investigation, Broomfield police receive another call, this time from Crystal's husband, Daniel, reporting a break-in at his home. An officer is dispatched to check things out. Unknowingly, this encounter will be the start of one of the most calculated murders the United States has ever seen.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, definitely. I'm Officer Chauncey.
I'm Dan.
Nice to meet you.
Johnson, nice to meet you. So, as I pulled in, I saw someone run out, jump over my gate, and take off that way.
Got it.
I didn't think to call you until my wife got home recently, and we realized the spare key that we keep in the garage isn't there.
Okay.
According to Daniel, the only thing that's gone is their spare house key. If someone stole that, it means they aren't done and might have plans to come back at some point. The officer advises Daniel to change their locks immediately while police look into who this intruder might be. What no one realizes tonight is that this is no random incident. It's the opening move in a plan that's been forming for months. And this break-in is just step 1. 9 days after Daniel reports the break-in, his wife Crystal wakes up to another uneasy morning. For weeks now, she's been receiving strange, anonymous messages and a growing sense that someone out there has an eye on her. Until now, none of it had a name attached, but a faceless presence that kept getting closer. But today, that changes. As Crystal gets the kids ready for school, makes her morning coffee, and heads out for work, her phone buzzes. She glances at the screen and sees a name she hasn't thought about in more than 20 years. Jack Anthony Holland, a man she dated briefly as a teenager. The message is short, crude, completely out of nowhere. Hi, Crystal. It's Anthony. Hope it's okay I looked you up. I go to Boulder every few weeks and thought we could hook up. You game? At first, she didn't think much of it. The two last spoke years ago, and even then, he was harmless. So she ignores it and moves on. But the next day, everything changes. Are you there? You should say yes when I offer pity. Whatever. I saw your pics. You got fat. you should yourself. Saw you at the dentist today. Your license plate expired. Gotta fix that. Suddenly, Crystal's fear becomes reality, and she begins living with the terrifying possibility that she's being watched. And now, she's certain Anthony is the one who's been harassing her for weeks. She becomes hypervigilant, installs cameras around the home, dash cams in her car, and starts carrying a concealed handgun everywhere she goes. By late October, Crystal's barely sleeping. She keeps a spreadsheet of her stalker log, documenting every message she gets. Then, almost a month later, a new email from Anthony confirms her worst fears. This your husband? Drives like slow old lady. He needs to drive safe. The email comes with an attached photo showing her husband Daniel at his workplace. Now the stalker isn't just targeting Crystal. He's coming after her family. Crystal realizes she can't handle this alone, so she hires a private investigator to track down Anthony's addresses and digital history. Then, on Halloween night, she calls the police.
So, how can I help you tonight? What's going on?
Yeah, so I have an ex from a very long time ago who has occasionally found me on social media, and it's never been an issue. So this month, I have received numerous text messages, and then today I got an email that is very threatening, and it escalated to the point that he took a recent picture of my husband at his work location. So the stalking is getting a little too aggressive at this point in time.
Okay.
So my last contact with this individual was 5 years ago, where I told him I was happily married. I had no interest in what he kept contacting me. He kind of blew things up and then blocked me. I blocked him, haven't heard from him since.
After explaining everything to the officer, she documents each detail and forwards the case to the department's investigative unit. Within hours, the file lands on the desk of Detective Andrew Martinez, a seasoned investigator who's worked some of Broomfield's toughest cases, including abductions and violent crimes. Martinez schedules a formal meeting with Crystal for the following week, hoping to get a clearer picture of what exactly is happening and who this Anthony really is. When she sits down with Martinez, the situation has already escalated far beyond what Crystal first reported.
So, he saw, full pictures of my family, of my kids. I locked down my protocol real fast after this, because it was pretty alarming, right? Where he's like, we're meant to be together, and my family loves that we're talking. And I'm like, whoa, you think that we're, in a relationship? Yeah. So I shut it down real hard. I said, this is really creepy for me. You need to stop. And he got, real emotional, and then blocked me. I'm like, good. And I blocked him, and and then I shut down Facebook entirely. The one development that I have, I did get the full-blown report from the PI. Problem, and you'll see this in this report, there are tons of phone numbers associated with him. There are tons of addresses. He moves everywhere and between 3 different states.
As Crystal walks the detective through her evidence, 2 details immediately stand out. First, her stalker isn't just texting her from random numbers. He's using multiple phone lines and different digital identities, finding ways to reach her even after she changes her information. Whoever this is, they're persistent, resourceful, and frighteningly determined. Second, her ex-boyfriend, Anthony Holland, is tied to several addresses and multiple phone numbers. Whether it's instability or an attempt to stay off the grid, it convinces Martinez that Crystal is dealing with someone who either doesn't want to be found or someone who's planning something far worse. With all of this in mind, Martinez wraps the interview with Crystal and begins the digital side of the investigation. He sends warrants to service providers, requesting phone records, email logs, and account information to track down the stalker. Unfortunately for Martinez, these companies will make a mistake that will soon prove deadly. While waiting for the digital evidence to come back, Martinez decides to follow up on something else. The garage break-in Daniel reported back in September when a stranger supposedly stole their spare house key. He brings Daniel in for a formal interview, wanting to know whether he's noticed anyone following him, but instead of clarifying things, Martinez is about to learn something far more unsettling about the Krug household. But before we get to that, 2025 is almost over, and we're falling into the same trap again, waiting for January 1st to start something new or learn a new skill. But here's the truth. You don't need a new year to make a new start. Let me tell you about the 2-day live AI mastermind training by Outskill, happening this Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. EST on both days. And the timing is perfect because they have their year-end holiday offer going on, so you can get in absolutely free instead of the usual $395. Outskill is rated 4.9 out of 5 on Trustpilot, and this 16-hour live experience by them has been attended by more than 10 million worldwide professionals like you, mentored directly by AI experts from companies like Microsoft and Nvidia. You'll learn how to use AI to simplify your daily tasks, build AI agents that plan, create, and automate your workflows, and gain ready-to-use AI systems for your job, business, or freelance projects. Outskill's learners have launched AI-powered businesses that even built weekly revenue models worth $4,000 to $5,000. Not just that, you'll receive bonuses worth $5,000, including a prompt Bible, a roadmap to monetize AI, and a personalized AI toolkit builder. Seats are limited. Grab yours now via the link in the description. With that said, let's get back to Daniel's interview, where the detective is about to learn something troubling about the couple's marriage.
And I guess at what point did she tell you that he recontacted her this last time?
It was either November 1st or November 2nd. It was after she had gotten a picture of me at work that she brought me up to speed on that.
Gotcha, okay. And the first contact that he initially made with her was back on October 2nd. I guess why that month gap, do you think, before she told you?
I'm sure she has mentioned to you that she and I are going through a rough patch, kind of on the rocks. So probably didn't seem that pressing until it was.
Sure. And she didn't mention that to me, that you guys were having a rough time currently. Are you guys in the process of separating, getting divorced, or working through things?
To be determined. My brother Matthew is a cop, so I have a retractable asp steel baton.
Yeah.
As I said, not right now, but otherwise it's on me all the time. I sleep with it next to me. I've bought some additional security cameras for the house. So what am I doing? I'm panicking. And I'm doing a shit job of protecting my wife. So I'm not doing good.
Yeah, I can see that. So, with that being, I know that Christelle, we put her car on a lift on Tuesday afternoon to see if there's any sort of GPS tracking or anything like that.
She told me.
We couldn't find anything on the car. If Anthony is watching you guys, it's going to be in person from a distance or nearby or however. So that poses an interesting issue in of itself.
From Daniel's reactions, it's clear the stalking is taking a toll on him, too. His wife is terrified, his family feels haunted, and he's struggling to understand how any of this is happening. Detective Martinez wraps up the interview, but something Daniel said lingers in the back of his mind. He revealed that he didn't know about the stalking for almost a month, not until Crystal finally showed him the email with the photo taken outside his workplace. So Martinez decides to look deeper into the family dynamic, and what he finds is concerning. He learns that the couple have been going through a rough patch recently. Nothing hostile or dangerous, but they were trying to work things out, doing what they believed was best for their kids and holding their family together the best they could. With how much the stalker seems to know about their lives, Martinez briefly wonders if someone inside the home might be manipulating the situation, and for a moment, he even considers the possibility that Daniel might be messing with his wife as some twisted way of trying to fix their marriage. But that idea is quickly dismissed. There is no evidence backing any of it, and all signs still point to Anthony. Not to mention, Crystal herself is fully convinced her ex is behind the stalking campaign. Throughout November, the harassment continues to escalate with more messages and threats. Crystal continues documenting everything and constantly monitors her cameras. By early December, she finally receives a message that gives her the smallest breath of air. Hey, gorgeous. I can't visit you anymore. No more Colorado time. My girlfriend doesn't want us talking without her. She says you'll let the cops get me after you get rid of him. For the first time in weeks, Crystal and her family feel a brief sense of relief. It sounds like Anthony is backing off, maybe even leaving the state. But in reality, this is just the stalker's final move to make them drop their guard before he strikes. The day starts like every other day. Daniel leaves for work while Crystal heads out to drop the kids off at school. During those minutes, someone approaches the front door, tapes over the Ring doorbell camera, and slips inside the house. Minutes later, Crystal drives back home, pulls into the garage, and steps out of the car. She has no idea someone is waiting for her inside, and the moment she closes the car door, he attacks. The stalker strikes Crystal in the head, stabs her, and leaves her bleeding on the floor. After months of plotting, this is the moment he'd been waiting for. Later that morning, Daniel tries calling Crystal from his office, but she doesn't answer or respond to texts. Hours pass, and there's still no sign of her, so Daniel finally decides to call police.
Springfield Dispatch is meeting.
Hi there. My name is Dan Krug. I don't think this is an emergency, but this feels really weird.
Okay.
My wife isn't responding to text messages or phone calls.
Okay.
We've had threats against us. We have both been targeted by a stalker.
Okay.
Threats have been made against my life.
Okay.
And threatening to kidnap her, which is why I'm nervous that she's not answering me.
Within minutes of Daniel's call, an officer is dispatched to the Krug residence to check on Crystal. At the same time, Daniel also calls Crystal's mother, asking her to go check on her daughter, sending her straight into the worst moment of her life. While she makes her way there, the officer reaches the house first.
Hello.
Oh, I'm their neighbor, and they called me. Like, can you go see if she'll answer the
Oh, yeah, he sent us as well, so.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
Just next door? Okay.
All right, well, you got this.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate it.
The house looks quiet, and the officer doesn't notice anything wrong from the outside. But before he clears the call and drives off, something nags at him. So he brings his patrol car a little closer to check the garage, where he's about to uncover a tragic, horrifying sight. As the officer leans in for a closer look, he spots a body lying on the floor, motionless, with blood smeared across the wall.
$151 Cent Medical and 110. I need a 4 sentry. I got a female down in the garage. Brookfield Police! Brookfield Police! Oh, shit. Holy shit.
The officer steps into the garage to find Crystal with what looks like a severe head injury, so he immediately begins performing CPR, working on her for several moments with no success before opening the garage door to give medics access. But instead of paramedics, someone else soon arrives.
Garage is open now.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. I need you to stay out, please.
Okay.
can't help it.
Tragically, as the garage door is lifted to get medics in, Crystal's mother catches a brief glimpse inside, just long enough to see an officer performing CPR on her daughter. Before she can process what she's seeing, another officer quickly arrives to shield her from this nightmare.
Bam! I need you to come over here for a minute, okay? So we can work. I understand. I need you to come on over here, okay?
Okay.
I know. Do me a favor, go and sit inside so we can work on her, okay? So we can try to get her the help, okay? What's your name?
Linda.
Linda?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Officer Zamora, okay? I'll come out here and I'll give you some news as soon as I can.
Please tell me she's okay.
I have no idea just yet, but I know that they're working on her. The officer in there has been working CPR on her, and I think she's doing okay,
My
okay?
husband called.
He did. He's the one that called us and let us know, okay? Go ahead, take a seat for a minute. I'll be right back here, okay?
I need to tag out, man. She's got a head wound. I don't know if it's from falling or something else, but probably falling, but I don't know, man. It's a good one.
Yep.
Husband said there was a stalker threatening to kidnap her, so I don't know.
She's not.
No, she's unresponsive. Decent head wound.
Where we have more room at the
While medics continue working on Crystal inside the garage, an officer stands outside reassuring a distressed woman who's just arrived, unaware that this is Crystal's mother. She's shaken and terrified by the horrors she witnessed inside the garage. Linda would later learn that none of this was random, and finding her daughter like this was always part of a twisted plan. Back inside the garage, medics keep working, still trying to revive Crystal, not yet aware of the fatal wound hidden beneath her clothing.
Guys, you see anything other than a fall type of wound?
What's that? Gash on the chest.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Yep, that's a stab wound. That's right, ready.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
The dispatch could tell us. The husband called in to check on her. I don't know right now, but dispatch should have it.
So we have a visible stab wound, you guys?
Yes.
Right above her heart. Okay, then let's. We are asystole. Yep. Asystole. Yep. Jermaine, are you good with this, or are you?
How recent is this trauma?
Husband said he couldn't reach her for
transport.
We don't know if it's within 10 minutes, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
Husband has not been able to reach her by any means for a few hours.
Yeah.
Stab wound to the chest. Let Henry know that.
Medics work for only a few minutes before realizing there's nothing more they can do. Beside Crystal's body, tucked inside her purse, the officer notices a handgun she never even had time to reach for. With the immediate area secure, officers spread out throughout the house, searching every room for the attacker, but no one is inside. And as officers step outside the home, they start noticing small details that don't line up with an impulsive crime.
Yeah, I don't know the backstory. Husband said there was a dude who's been stalking her and threatened to kidnap her. And Martinez was involved, and Martinez just said, hey, this is a big old... I don't know, dude. I don't know the history on that part. Martinez does, though, and he said he's coming in. So, other than that, we're just kind of securing the scene and waiting for detectives, you know? See what they need. I kicked that, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. That is very interesting. Almost like dude might have stuck around from this way and...
I wonder if maybe the door was unlocked, that's how he got in. And then
you know what, dude?
Deadbolted when...
You know what? I don't know. I kicked it and it went pretty easy. So I'm going to say no deadbolt.
It wasn't deadbolted, it was just handle was locked.
I saw her, came around, booted it.
Officers quickly confirmed the door was unlocked, and a strip of blue tape had been placed over the Ring doorbell camera. Whoever did this clearly planned it and came prepared. As police continue searching the scene, more family members begin arriving one by one, each of them unknowingly walking into the worst moment of their lives, while officers prepare to deliver the news no family ever wants to hear.
They were
survivor?
I don't know anything just yet, ma'am. I don't know anything just yet. Are you
So good though.
This is her mom.
She's I'm the mom.
Family friend.
family friend?
Family friend from
I
down the
live right in the
street.
blue house there.
We asked her to come knock on the door.
Okay. Is her husband almost here?
Is he? Is she gone?
We want to give you guys all the information all together. Okay. We don't want to have to repeat the information over and over for you guys to continue anything. So.
He said he was on.
What did he do to her?
No. They won't say. They won't say. I'm trying to figure it out. Oh my gosh.
Who's in charge of the doctor? We'd like to know what happened.
Absolutely. And as soon as someone frees up who can tell you, I'll send them your way, okay?
Our son's on his way.
Is this your daughter, sir, or your daughter-in-law?
That was my daughter.
This is your daughter, and so her brother's on his way.
Yeah.
121, copy instruction card.
With Crystal's father and brother now at the scene, the weight of what's happened settles over the family, and it grows heavier by the minute. The only person missing is Crystal's husband, Daniel, the man who feared he wouldn't be able to protect her for weeks. Now he's on his way to find out those fears have come true. As they wait for him, detectives arrive at the scene and begin coordinating their next steps to hunt down whoever did this. Little do they know, the killer they're looking for is still in the area, much closer than they think.
So I pulled my car around to the garage just to see if her car was in the garage, and I immediately saw her at the base of the stairs, blood smear on the wall, and I came around and booted the front door. It turns out it wasn't locked. There's also a piece of masking tape over the Ring camera, almost like somebody approached from the side and taped it.
Okay.
And then maybe she opened the door for somebody. First thing I noticed was an obvious head wound. They noticed after tearing the shirt and everything off, she had a good stab wound right there. So that's what we got. Husband should be here any minute.
Okay, so I need another detective up here to start working with canvassing. I need you to stay here, and Martinez is coming here, so he'll be good with that. I want you and Martinez to work on this. I'm going to give...
Martinez was working on the stalking before.
Here's the thing. What we got to be careful of. We have to be careful. We don't know. Anybody that's here is still a suspect, so we need to be sure that we stay focused on that.
Yep.
As investigators discuss plans to interview Crystal's family and her husband Daniel, he arrives on scene, cutting the conversation short. And right away, he makes it clear to everyone that he's nothing more than a devastated victim, overwhelmed by what's happened to his wife.
Okay, I need you to stay back, sir.
This is my house.
I understand. I need you to stay back here. Family's over here. Family's over here.
703. Don't worry. That was precious.
I know there's a lot of questions right now. Fortunately, we don't have a whole lot of answers for you. But I know what you want to do right now. You can have it.
Together, so we can get you guys there.
Please,
Or could have said someone leave me over there?
At this time, officers have no reason to suspect Daniel of anything, so they treat him with care as he goes through this traumatic moment. But beneath that devastation lies a cold, heartless man, because Daniel knows exactly what happened inside that garage, and Daniel is the killer himself. Every tear and shaking breath is part of his act, one he will continue selling to police and Crystal's family standing just a few feet away.
I didn't protect her.
I was the person who attacked her.
Let them know about, and they're going to talk to her. They're not going to say, nobody says anything. They're just going to tell her they're We don't tell. This is a family matter. We're just going to figure out a reunification. Let's take care of it. Just make sure that transportation.
As this tragedy unfolds, Crystal's mother embraces Daniel, trying to comfort him, having no idea the man she's holding is the one who murdered her daughter. Unfortunately for officers, the hardest part of the job still isn't over. As the family grieves outside the home, a detective is sent to the school to pick up Crystal's children, who still have no idea what happened to their mother. When the detective finds Crystal's eldest daughter, she's already shaken. She's been watching the live camera feed on her phone and saw enough to know something terrible happened. But what she tells the detective next is what truly alarms her. Her mother's stalker has been hinting at something far darker recently, and he might have deadly plans for the rest of the family.
My phone notified me of my house cameras going off. There was police at my house and an ambulance, and there was a stretcher. I couldn't bring myself to see who was on the stretcher, so I call my mom and dad. My dad picks up and he's crying.
They're probably about 7 minutes away. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, something happened, okay? That's why you're here, okay?
You know what's going on?
I do, but I can't. I'm not gonna tell you, okay? Because we're still actively investigating what's going on out there. So I don't want to give you wrong information. That's the last thing I want to do, okay? What has been going on at home?
So this dude has been threatening my mom, stalking her, taking photos of my dad, saying that he's going to kill him.
Who? Do we know who this person is?
One of her ex. I don't know his name.
Like an ex-boyfriend or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they broke up a while ago. They ended it as friends. So this has all come to a really big shock to her. And then, so he's been contacting her from different numbers, sending pictures of my dad, saying he's gonna kill them. He hasn't mentioned anything about me and my siblings yet, which is good. He's like, he posted something to a website, trying to recruit guys to like help him with whatever plan he's doing. And then he's like,
how did you guys learn about that?
He's been contacting my mom through all of this, so my mom has contacted the police, and she has like a whole bunch of people on the case. But the thing is, he's making it sound like she's helping him, and she's not. And so,
helping him like try to kill your dad?
Yeah, and so like we're afraid that the police are gonna turn on us.
Okay.
And so she's been trying to protect herself.
What Crystal's daughter reveals isn't just alarming, it's sickening. Because this so-called stalker isn't just threatening the family, he's twisting the narrative inside their home. He's making it look like Crystal was secretly working with him to kill Daniel, manipulating the kids into believing their own mother is dangerous while positioning Daniel as the helpless target who needs protection. To the kids, their mother starts to look untrustworthy. To detectives, Daniel starts to look like a victim, and to the stalker, everything is going exactly according to plan. It's a disturbing, genius level of premeditation, carried out by a man willing to use anyone, even his own children. The detective logs this information and coordinates with Crystal's sister-in-law, Kate, to get the children safely out of the school. Back at the crime scene, detectives continue their work. They canvass the neighborhood, speak with neighbors, and begin collecting every CCTV clip they can find to reconstruct the killer's movements. By this point, there's enough evidence tying Crystal's ex-boyfriend Anthony to months of harassment, allowing police to obtain a nationwide arrest warrant for stalking. Departments across the country are notified to be on the lookout for him. Additionally, with a homicide on their hands and a killer on the loose, investigators can escalate the case and issue exigent circumstance warrants to service providers to finally speed up the digital data they've been waiting on. If Martinez received those files weeks earlier, things might have been very different. In the meantime, Daniel, along with the rest of the family, is taken to the police station for formal interviews. At this stage, it's standard procedure, and investigators are simply looking to collect statements. But about 2 hours later, when detectives finally sit down with Daniel, his routine interview will begin to take a very different turn.
So, your home security system, you access that through your personal phone?
Google Nest.
That's Google Nest, okay.
This fixing me.
Okay.
Just a home.
Home. Okay. So I have your permission to operate this phone and get what we need?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many different cameras do you have?
4. Doorbell. Side of the house, driveway, back door.
How long have you had it?
Doorbell, a couple years. The others, all since September. We had an intruder. I called the police. He came when we had a garage intruder.
A month after Daniel reported the garage intruder back in September is when the stalking first began, and by then, the couple had already installed multiple cameras around the house, plus their Ring doorbell. But even with all that security, and after police confirmed they had no GPS trackers on their cars, the stalker still found a way to follow them, sending Crystal a photo of Daniel walking into work and texting her about seeing her at the dentist. So as the detective scrolls through the surveillance footage to understand the timeline, he notices something strange that catches Daniel off guard.
So when do your cameras go off? Do you ever have them set to turn off?
24/7.
Okay.
They don't turn off. If you lose internet or in the app, you can turn them off.
And who has the ability to turn off the cameras? Who has the ability to go in the app and turn these off?
Christine, me, and
God, it's all right. It's all right, Dan.
Home shows all 4.
Oh,
and
perfect.
Home. I can settings.
Okay. Oh,
just us.
Just us. Okay.
The detective's question here isn't by chance. It's prompted by something peculiar he noticed on the surveillance app. All of the home's cameras shut off at 8:15 a.m. and they stay off until 10:15 a.m. Only the camera pointed outside the garage remains active during that entire 2-hour window. This instantly narrows the murder time frame to those 2 hours. Just then, Martinez finally arrives at the interview room. He's the lead detective who's been handling Crystal's stalking case for months, and now that case has become something far worse. He sits down with her devastated husband, feeling the weight of the loss they both couldn't prevent. They didn't save Crystal, they couldn't protect her, and now they're here, mourning her loss, trying to piece together what happened.
I did that, girl.
It's not your fault.
I was supposed to protect her.
It's not your fault. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I actually wasn't in today.
As Daniel breaks down, something catches Martinez's attention. Daniel is crying, but there are no tears. The detective finds it strange and more than a little concerning. Wanting to probe deeper, Martinez asks for a moment alone with Daniel to see what's really going on beneath the surface. And the moment he starts asking questions, things get heated, fast.
I know you said that you don't think that there was somebody else. She said. Okay. Why do you keep asking? I'm just trying to put everything together to kind of get a bigger picture, because you said that she's been acting kind of weird lately and, you know, being very secretive and withholding of information for you. So I'm just trying to understand, I guess, so we can backtrack what she's been doing this past month.
Martinez's question here is telling of what he's thinking. He's not ruling out Daniel as a possible suspect. After all, the couple were going through a separation period, and this is meant to probe whether jealousy or something else could have played a role in Crystal's death. Sensing the tension in Daniel's response, the detective decides not to press any further. But as they step out for a quick break, Daniel says something that makes it obvious he struck a nerve.
I've seen enough movies. It's always the husband. I get it.
After detectives collect the initial information from Daniel, his children finally arrive at the police department. They still don't know what happened to their mother, only that something is very, very wrong. Daniel is notified of their arrival and given a choice. Should he be the one to tell them, or leave it to officers and Crystal's family? Instead of letting someone else deliver the news, Daniel insists on telling them himself. A decision that appears compassionate on the surface, but underneath, it's a way for him to control the narrative and shape how his children see him, even in a moment of tragedy. Following this, investigators sit down with Crystal's family to begin their interviews, and this is where things start to take a concerning turn. Up until now, the case seems straightforward. Crystal has a stalker, her ex-boyfriend Anthony. That stalker killed her. Find Anthony, and you find Crystal's killer. But once detectives start speaking to Crystal's parents, brother, and sister-in-law, things become far more complicated. And what they learn next will force them to reconsider everything they think they know about Crystal, her marriage, and even her stalker.
So your understanding, I guess, of it's the ex-husband who's been kind of...
It's not about husband, it's an ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend.
From when she was 18 years old.
Okay, gotcha. Can you think of any, I guess, recent, has he reached out to you? Have you seen any...
No, he's never contacted me. I know the restaurant told me that he had messaged her again 2 days ago or so. Let her know that he was ready to come back, and so she can go ahead and offer her husband now. Make it look a little like she was in on this whole deal with killing her husband, I guess.
Okay, do you think there's anything doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right, something that, I don't know, you just feel like might be important to our investigation?
I don't know, I know that Christine was very concerned and worried about this guy, and I just always felt like it was there was something weird about it, but I can't put my finger on it. It just, I feel like she had said that it was this Anthony guy, that it seemed very different than past behavior in him, that he was never sexual in the past, and that these were very hypersexual things. And so I think even at one point she was questioning whether it was actually him.
I don't know if you necessarily know anything any more about that, but they just also just kind of mentioned you guys are kind of close, and just see if maybe some sort of insight on that at all.
Insight on their marriage?
Or just, was there issues going on? Were they having problems? Was there, kind of anything that was kind of...
She had shared with me that they had separated.
Okay.
But were still living together a year ago. And I had asked her if she, over text, if she had, if she believed that it was Anthony. But she didn't believe, at the time that I was asking her, that it was anybody but Anthony. She was fully convinced that it was Anthony.
Okay.
My mom has always been suspicious, and I just don't know where that comes from.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on that? Suspicious how, or...
My mom?
Yeah.
Suspicious? I don't know, because she... the difficulty finding Anthony. Why is it so hard to find Anthony? Why can't there, cell phone records or IP stuff? So my mom had that frustration, and so I think her mind starts to wander towards conspiracy type things, right? Of oh, maybe it's the husband, or maybe it's Dan, and I don't know. I don't see it there just because, I don't know. Dan just seems so incapable of doing something like that to me.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, I talked to him, and him and I just hung out and talked for 2 hours. And he was very concerned about getting his family together and talking about being vigilant but not paranoid.
Even though Crystal's brother Lars sounds skeptical of his mother's suspicions, she isn't exactly wrong, as, on the surface, it makes no sense that Anthony couldn't be tracked down for months. Lars would also go on to explain that Crystal and Daniel saw their marriage very differently. Crystal wanted out, Daniel didn't, and the family seemed to view their relationship as dysfunctional but not violent. But listening to these statements, one thing becomes very clear. Every family member felt that something about the stalker was off. There was a shared intuition they couldn't quite articulate, and when detectives sit down with Crystal's mother, she makes that suspicion very clear.
I know you said, and I kind of learned on seeing that she was married, had 3 children.
Her life was hell when she left Gruesome last year. Her husband and her were not in good terms. He was in complete denial. She'd tell me how he was.
Did she ever give you insight on what kind of led her to feel like her marriage was over, or?
Dad is explosive, but I've never seen him, hurt her. He would hurt the kids, but, some people think the corporal punishment is to pay the kids. But he would hurt the kids. She was worried about that. But I don't want to say it's a dad. But she told me he was in denial, that she told him his marriage was over, but she would stay until graduated. I have this, just a gut I can't shake with him.
What's that feeling telling you?
I can't shake this question. Is he the one that's been doing this with Anthony?
Needless to say, hinting that Daniel might somehow be involved with the stalker is an alarming accusation, and it makes things even more complicated for the detectives. At this point, the family itself is split. Crystal's brother Lars completely dismisses the idea that Daniel could be involved, calling it nothing more than a conspiracy. But others felt that there was something off about Anthony and the entire stalking agenda. With all statements collected, detectives wrap the family interviews and regroup to make sense of everything they've gathered. By combining everything they've learned, detectives land on a clearer picture of where the investigation now stands. The family interviews raised enough concern, and there was enough tension in the marriage that detectives decide they can't rule out Daniel yet, and he officially becomes a potential suspect. But even with Daniel now on the radar, Anthony remains as the obvious prime suspect in Crystal's homicide. His threats and weeks-long stalking campaign still place him at the center of the investigation. With that in mind, detectives know their next move. It's time to find Anthony. At around 3 p.m. that afternoon, police finally get their first real break in months. After digging through everything they have on Anthony Holland, investigators land on a possible address in Utah. Because they can't reach him themselves, Broomfield detectives coordinate with Utah County Sheriff's Office, sharing his name, photo, and the address where he's believed to be staying. Up until now, Anthony has only existed as a name in emails and threats, a distant figure who no one has actually seen. So when officers finally get a hit on his location, it becomes the first real chance to confront the man they've been hunting for months.
I'm going to ask you a couple of names to see if you recognize any names.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the name Crystal Krug? She may have been Grimsrod when you knew her.
Yeah.
And do you know a Daniel Krug?
No.
No? How do you know Crystal?
She was an ex-girlfriend.
She's an ex-girlfriend? How long's the ex? Like how long ago?
1999.
Oh, so like a long while ago.
She was my very first girlfriend ever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When's the last time you talked to Crystal? Has it been a minute?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Like since you moved from Durango?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been what, back in 2014?
Yeah.
Have you had any contact with anybody in that area since? Anybody, or have they contacted you at any time?
No.
I'm going to give you a phone number, and it's to a sergeant with the Broomfield Police Department.
Okay.
He would like you to reach out and talk to him.
All right.
They have an incident. I don't know the full details of their incident out there, and so I'll let him talk to you about that aspect. He had asked us to come out here to your house and talk with you. They were debating on, you do have an active warrant out of Broomfield Police Department, and they were debating on if they were going to have us arrest you or not. They are not going to have us arrest you on it. I'm going to advise you of the fact that you do have a warrant out of Colorado, and you can talk to this sergeant about the details of it, if that makes sense.
As officers speak with Anthony, he appears intoxicated and confused. After being briefed on the situation, he gives his timeline, insisting he never left Utah and spent the morning with family nowhere near Colorado. Once they collect Anthony's statement, Utah officers leave to begin verifying every part of his story. In the meantime, detectives back in Colorado regroup to reassess the investigation. With Anthony still denying involvement, Detective Martinez turns back to the one angle he hasn't fully explored yet: Crystal's husband, Daniel. Since he never ruled out jealousy or affairs as a possible motive, he decides to dig deeper into Daniel's past, and that's when he stumbles onto something interesting and very unsettling. While searching old reports, Martinez finds a closed but unresolved stalking complaint from years earlier. The victim who filed it is a woman named Carrie, and as it turns out, she was Daniel's ex-girlfriend. The more Martinez reviews, the more disturbing the pattern becomes. The report claims she was stalked for weeks by an obsessed man who impersonated multiple people, manipulating her through fake identities. Detectives quickly locate Carrie and bring her in for an interview. When they sit down with her, they uncover a story so disturbingly similar to Crystal's, it opens up an entirely new theory.
I think it was, like I said, a couple months I broke up with him a couple months into my freshman year. He, he was pretty emotional, I would say. Sort of desperation would maybe be a word I would use to describe after the breakup of, please don't do this, kind of, crying, that sort of thing, that I can recall. And then I started to get messages from his roommate, and that person's name is Tom, on AOL Instant Messenger. And I know Tom is real because they were roommates. If I called him, Tom would sometimes pick up the phone. They each had a joint room and a joint phone. Tom, his role, I would say, was sort of to gain sympathy from me for Dan and continue to encourage me to communicate with Dan. There was perhaps some indication that he was, or was, because of the breakup, just really not doing well. So this, made me keep communication up with Dan. And Tom ended up being Dan, right? So all these people I'm going to tell you about end up being Dan Krug, not Tom. Yeah, even though Tom is a real person, he was not sending me these messages.